Have you ever experienced any of these? If yes, and you've easily overcome the obstacles to be a stronger person, congratulations. Sadly, not everyone recovers easily. Some people learn to cope, but everybody is different. One way that people cope is through dissociation. Dissociation is a common defense or reaction to a stressful or traumatic situation. However, repeated traumas may result in a person developing a dissociative disorder. Dissociative amnesia is said to develop from these events. Amnesia in extreme intrapsychic conflict. The environment where the amnesia develops is massively conflictual, with the person experiencing intolerable emotions of shame, guilt, despair, rage, and desperation. The second is betrayal trauma. Dissociative amnesia is said to be brought about by the experience of intense trauma caused by betrayal of a trusted, needed other. This betrayal is thought to influence the way in which the event is processed and remembered. Traumatic stress. Depersonalization may occur when a person is a victim of an accident. Neurobiological theories. Migraines and marijuana increases the depersonalization symptoms. Traumatic circumstances is the most common cause of having dissociative fugue. For example, combat, rape, recurrent abuse, massive social dislocation, and natural disasters. Dissociative identity disorder is linked with severe experiences in life, most especially to childhood trauma, for example, rape, physical abuse, and maltreatment. Some reports identify personal conflicts and financial problems as stressors.
How has the new school year been?
Fine. Been more work. College applications.
College applications. So you've been under more stress recently.
Yes.
How's this stress affected you? Has your appetite been okay lately?
I haven't been eating a lot. I eat. I'm not anorexic or anything.
Have you been able to sleep?
Sometimes.
Have you had any nightmares or intense recurring dreams?
No, I don't have any nightmares.
Did anything in particular happen 2 days ago?
I don't think so.
You can't recall any of the events at your school Tuesday?
No.
So I went from being, well, I like anyone had issues, but I went from being completely functional, never suicidal, never depersonalized, to full-blown, clinically depressed, anxious, and for the purpose of this video, horrible depersonalization, derealization. Now, I didn't know what it was when I had it. I didn't know what was going on, but I thought that I was absolutely losing my mind. The one thing I can say that would try to make you understand what it felt like to be severely depersonalized and derealized is that the world around me suddenly did not feel like real. And you know that feeling when you binge out on caffeine or stimulants and you've been up for one too many days, or you pull an all-nighter and then you had to go to work the next day for whatever reason, but you know that feeling when you're so strung out on caffeine but you can't crash yet, and that it's just like this blah, detached, hungover, weird feeling? It's like a version of that, but significantly worse and with no end in sight. I remember when I was in the beginning of my depersonalization, derealization, I remember looking around me and thinking that I am in a fucking movie. I mean, I would look at my hand and I would swear that it wasn't my own hand. Now, this is not going to make sense to a lot of people, but for anyone who suffered these symptoms of depersonalization, derealization, that detachment, that utter fucking numbness that comes over you when you feel that way, you know what I'm talking about. You know how completely frightening it is. And if you were anything like me, you thought you were losing your mind.
I feel totally alone, very depressed, very anxious about everything, and I don't fit in anywhere.
Mr. Ingram was found wandering the streets of Denver last month with just $8 in his pocket and a cap on his head. Authorities nicknamed him Al. Doctors who examined him are convinced his is a very rare but very real case of amnesia, right down to what he likes for breakfast.
Pancakes, everybody loves pancakes.
Try to look for information in my head, and it's not there.
It's just blank.
Yeah.
Soon after his national plea came his answer. His family saw him and called police. But with his biggest question answered, there is now an avalanche of others. How did he wind up in Denver? And can he be believed?
Absolutely. In most instances, I don't believe that these are just people who are malingering or making up their symptoms.
Ingram left his home last month to visit his mother in Canada, but never made it. And it turns out he suffered from amnesia once before. In this case, doctors diagnosed him with what's called dissociative fugue. Experts say the cause with this type of amnesia is most often psychological.
Sometimes it's just a stress-related phenomena where a person, so to speak, goes off the deep end.
Anytime the personalities come out, I'm afraid that I may never come back again.
With help from Kim Noble's therapist, Kim's alternate personalities come out one by one. First dominant personality, Patricia, disappears, and Bonnie takes over. Bonnie used to be the main personality who took care of daughter Amy.
Hello. Nice to see you. It's a long time no see.
I know.
Because, yeah, it's nice to see.
Why do you see a therapist?
People got problems with me being gay, so I see a therapist.
Who has a problem with that?
The outside world.
Do you date?
I haven't for a long time, but yeah,
Salome is a personality who rants and raves. She doesn't sit down. She's always walking around the room and not settled.
Salome is deeply religious and seems quite angry.
She was a good Catholic woman.
After Salome leaves, things get much calmer when the personality Dawn arrives. She's literally frozen in time and believes it's 1997, the year Amy was born.
Hi, Dawn. Nice to meet you.
Dawn doesn't realize Amy is her daughter. Dawn thinks she had a baby named Sky, who was taken away at birth.
Can you tell me about Sky?
Sky is my baby. And social services just took her away and put her up for adoption.
What is your name? Mary, last name. Why are you here? I'm not sure. How old are you? Years. How many fingers am I holding up? I can't be sure that those are your fingers. Okay. What is the height of dumbness? About 6 feet, aren't you? Do you know how rude you are? No, but if you hum a few bars, I'll tap my feet. What is a holiday that falls in December? Easter. What color is the ocean? Orange. How many legs does a dog have? 3, but they bark. Why is that man standing behind you? Mary, there is no man standing behind me. Yes, there is. He's wearing a lab coat and laughing at me.
Most of the time, dissociative amnesia spontaneously resolves once the person is moved to safety. On the other hand, some patients do develop chronic forms of the amnesia. Depersonalization after traumatic experiences or intoxications commonly remits spontaneously after removal from the traumatic circumstances. Most fugues are relatively brief, and most individuals appear to recover. Some individuals with untreated dissociative identity disorder may result in the traumatization of their families. Treatment for dissociative amnesia can be cognitive therapy, hypnosis, or group psychotherapy. Different types of medication and psychotherapy have been used to treat depersonalization disorder. Dissociative fugue can be treated with oriented psychotherapy, hypnotherapy, and pharmacologically facilitated interviews. Treatment for dissociative identity disorder include psychotherapy, cognitive therapy, hypnosis, psychopharmacological interventions, electroconvulsive therapy, and adjunctive treatments. No systematic treatment studies have been conducted given the rarity of the cancer syndrome.